Hey, what's up? Welcome to Lenny Schmidt's Quarantine Comedy. Thank you for being here. It is Monday, May I don't know, the 24th. It's Monday, May 24th. Thanks for being in the show. You guys, if you watched the show before, you know what it is. We talk to comics, entertainers, professional entertainment type people, and we discuss what they did during COVID, how they survived, what they're going to do after COVID, blah, blah, that type of stuff. It's been great. This is episode 167 with my buddy Kevin Naughton. Hang in there. We're going to start in a second. Do me a favor, though. I always forget to say this right at the beginning. Hit the like button. There's a thumbs up right below, right there. Hit the thumbs up button right there. For some reason, let me hit edit again because I seem to have made yet another error. Yeah, hit the thumbs up. The kids call it smash. Smash the like button for me, please. I would really appreciate it. And, we're going down, going down. Let it boom. There we go. Bam. Perfect. Please hit the like button. Hit the thumbs up button. Smash the like button. That's what the kids are saying these days. Subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. This show is here every Monday and Wednesday. We live stream on YouTube at 6 o'clock. Sit back. Enjoy the show. That's just, well, you know what? Buckle up. We're going to get started in a second here. So hang in there. Hey, welcome to Quarantine Comedy. This is Lenny Schmidt. Do me a favor.
Hey, welcome to Lily Schmidt's Quarantine Comedy. That's right, I am in charge now. This show is where we talk with entertainment professionals about their lives.
Yeah, all right, now we're rocking. Now we're here. Now we're live. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning into the show, Lenny Schmidt's Quarantine Comedy. I've explained, blah, 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 what's going on. We live stream on YouTube Monday and Wednesday, and the show is a podcast after that. So there you go. There you go. We talk to comics, we talk about all kinds of stuff. Sometimes I check out the news. There's not a lot going on in the news that I want to really discuss or talk about. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not talking politics. No, thank you. Pass. No, not interested in that. No, not interested. Nothing. No good stories. Don't like anything. June 15th, the big open day here in California. If you live in California, you're aware. You know what's happening. We can go out. We can do stuff. You wear a mask. If you still want to wear a mask, go ahead and wear a mask. I constantly am running into people who I'm not going to say are overreacting, but they're afraid of me. They're afraid to be near anyone. I do the Uber Eats. I mentioned I do the Uber Eats. I delivered some food to someone in an office the other day, and she was in an office. She goes, put it on the chair. I go, okay. Put it in the chair. Type into my phone. She walks out of the office and sees me and just stops and backs up like I'm a leper. And she's like, the chair's fine. I go, it is on the chair. I'm leaving right now. I'm walking out the door. And I wanted to go, we're almost at the end of this now. You know what I mean? I have the vaccine. Everybody's good. We're good. There's a lot of people that are still hiding under chairs and wearing masks, in which you can do whatever you want, but at some point, 2 or 3 months from now, I'm looking forward to seeing the people that are still wearing the masks and hiding. I have friends that are like, I'm never taking this mask off. And I'm like, okay, because I can't wait for the 15th. I'm going to rip the mask. I'm going to burn every mask I have so I never have to wear it ever again. I'll follow the rules. I'm not an animal, I'm not going to be that guy. But the second they say it's clear, I'm good. I'm not wearing stuff. And then I don't want to hear any more complaining or yelling from people. So that's my moment. Wow, we have a lot of viewers today. I'm eating cheese. Sorry, I don't have time to eat before the show. So let's Alex and Eric were here before anybody. Alex was here before anybody. Vince Mulligan, thank you very much. Robbie is here. Of course, I knew Robbie would be here, and she's on time. She was here early as well because she wants to see our guest, Kevin Naughton. The Runyons are here. Brenda Runyon's here. The Mulligans, Vince and Tammy. Tammy's giving me shit for not getting back to her message. Okay, whatever. Have some patience. I got your message. I haven't had a chance to respond. I'm sorry. Rachel's here. Rachel's in. Ben Magley again is here. The Packer fan, the resident Packer fan that's watches the show. Shauna Johnson is here, who joined our first ever happy hour last week. By the way, if you want to join the Patreon page, I wonder you can get that information. Bam. Oh, look, it's right there. Down at the bottom. Lenny Schmidt Comedy. That's my Patreon page. You join the Patreon page, you get to do a little thing, something called happy. It's happy hour somewhere, man. That's what it's called. We do a big Zoom meeting and we drink. So it's I'm good at drinking. Anything that involves drinking, I can do. All right. Brenda Runyon, Robin Greenberg. Everybody's here. Okay, we got lots of people here, man. Let's get to it. I don't want to waste much time. Because you'll see when I bring him out here, Kevin's a world traveler. He's got shit to do. He doesn't have time to sit around and talk to me on these podcasts. He's got a lot going on. Folks, let's just bring him right out. Let's get right to it. What do you think? Let's do it. Hold on. Let's find the thing. Let's find the right... There we go. Folks, Kevin Naughton and I go way back, and I mean way back. Way back. During the Bulls championship runs in the 90s, Kevin and I, and Steve Seeger for that matter, I believe, were inseparable through most of May and June. It was a lot of fun. It was a great time to be in Chicago. And we had a blast during all of it. So let's bring him out. Let's not waste any time, folks. Here's my good friend from Chicago, Kevin Naughton. Here he is. Look, bam, there he is, live in person.
Look at that. Let me knock. There we go. Put me in the square properly. I feel like that old Hollywood Square show.
Yeah, don't do that. You got it. That's on your end. I can't fix that for you. Perfect.
So what do you want me to do?
What are you, a monkey? This is how the show's going to go? Just start and you go, all right, what do you want me to do?
What do you want me to do?
What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
How you doing, brother?
What do you want me to do, my friend? You know what, Lenny? I think I'm doing okay. That's the rumor I'm going to start, and I'm going to continue that through the show. I think I'm okay.
All right.
I can't help how my brother feels about me.
Okay. I like it. I don't know if you're. I don't know if you're trying to convince me, yourself, or others, but I don't care. I'm going to go with it. I like the response.
I appreciate that. You're absolutely right, and you busted me once again that I'm trying to convince myself that I'm okay.
It's okay. That's all right. We all do it, man. We all do it.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, this is pretty cool. I'm on your show.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for being here. I appreciate taking time out of your world travels. What's with the map back there? Are you booking a one-night run through Istanbul, or what's happening?
Once again, you've caught me, Lenny. I'm going through Istanbul, and it's I don't care how many war zones I got to go through to entertain whoever I'm going to entertain once I get there. But I'm seeing buildings falling down, and I'm seeing that they need a few laughs.
Yeah, they need some yucks.
Good
man. I like
it. They do.
They do.
Yeah, man.
Are you? You're back now. Are you? Where are you at, brother? Now you're from Canaryville, but you're up north now, aren't you? Up near. Where are you at? You're not in Canaryville anymore.
I'm in Chicago. I'm in Lincoln Square, which is a nice little German-influenced neighborhood. Beautiful women and terrific German beer.
Yeah, I used to live just south of there. I was on Western and Belmont.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember going to a party at your house. At one point in that exact location.
Yeah.
But you're right. I was living in Canaryville I grew up there, and then I left Canaryville as soon as I got out of college. I realized, wow, they took all the girls, and I got to go.
I can't stay in this town. There's no girls. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I got to go. So I left Canaryville, and I started moving toward the north, and then all of a sudden, now I'm just telling you this for informational purposes. My mom was getting older, so she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I said, well, let me move back to Canaryville and keep an eye on Mom.
Right.
And I tell you something. I had a mechanic that was pretty much across the street from me in Lincoln Square. It was easy when my car broke down. But then I got to a point where I needed some service in Canaryville, and I had forgotten I forgot about the racism, Lenny. I did. You've won.
In Canaryville?
I forgot about it because I asked my brother who lives in Canaryville. I said, hey, look, I could use some service on my car. Do you know anybody? And, of course, everybody's got a guy in Chicago. So in Canaryville, you got like 10 guys. So my brother said, call Mike. He lives across the alley from me. So I call this guy Mike, and Mike, as soon as he gets on the phone, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, and Mike sounds like he's hammered at 9 a.m. And I said to him, listen, I got to get my car fixed. Do you know anybody? And he goes, and he talks just like he's hammered. He goes, let's see, I got somebody. I said, okay, well, I'm Kevin Naughton. I'm Brian's brother, and he said I should call you. Maybe you could help me out here. And he goes, oh, yeah, I could get your car fixed. Don't worry about nothing. I got a Mexican. And I said, well, I thought I wanted a mechanic. He goes, well, ain't that what I said? I forgot I was calling a guy in Canaryville.
Yeah, right.
I completely forgot, because they kind of equate. Well, you need a mechanic? Well, I got a Mexican. I'm like, oh, okay, that's the same thing. I didn't know. I've been living out of the neighborhood for years.
Yeah, things don't change back there, bro. That's how they just say it like it's no big deal. And then you ask them about it, and they're like, what? Well, I don't know. What do you mean? Like,
that's exactly what happened. I pushed him on it, and I said, well, I needed a mechanic. He says, well, ain't that what I said? Like he's already got me covered. And then I went down to the shop. He picked me up, and well, let me go back a little bit. What had happened was that was about 9 o'clock in the morning. And about 2 hours later, I get a phone call back from this guy, Mike. And he said to me, he goes, hey, is this Kevin? And I said, yeah, this is Kevin. Hi, Mike, I just talked to you. He goes, yeah. He goes, hey, is your mom the German lady? And I said, yeah. And he says, oh, okay. He said, yeah, I haven't seen her in a while. She not walking around the neighborhood anymore because my mom was spirited. She was always walking around the neighborhood. And Mike said, oh, what's the matter? And I said, well, she's sick right now. She's getting older, so we're keeping an eye on her. He goes, oh, all right. He said, and all of a sudden I hear his wife in the background, Kathleen, starts yelling. She said, and she had that smoker's voice, like she's been smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day for, 40 years.
The Marge voice. Hey.
That's kind of like that. And she said, if you need me to, I hear in the background, if you need me to come over and sit with your mom, I don't have any problem with that. And I said, oh my God. So I said, well, Mike, tell Kathleen, I said, thank you. And he goes, yeah, that's okay. Don't worry about anything. He said, and I'll get your car fixed. We'll make sure we take care of it. And I said, Mike, that's very nice. And all of a sudden in the background, Kathleen yells out, yeah, because he's got a Mexican. And I thought, this is a family affair here. This racism and this helpfulness is. So then I take the car to the mechanic, and I meet this guy named Miguel. And Miguel this guy had. I was surprised because it was in an area of Canaryville that's right on the cusp of Canaryville, and there's nothing there. But all of a sudden, this guy had opened up this garage with all kinds of cars out there, nice cars, Corvettes, brand new cars, older cars. But he had he must have had easily a dozen cars out there waiting to get serviced. So I went up to the guy and I dropped my car off. I told him what was wrong, what I wanted to have done. And I said, man, Miguel, you look like you're really doing well here. I said, for Canaryville. I said, you got a lot of business.
Busy.
And he looks at me and he goes, yeah. He goes, I tell you what, I got a Caucasian. I said, I'm getting tired of all you people.
It comes from all sides, brother. Canaryville, they don't just, racism does not discriminate in Canaryville.
Against racism.
Yeah, that's right.
It joins you hand in hand.
It sucks you in.
Hand in hand. Everyone is going to share in the racism.
Look, you can hate everyone. You can feel free to take a shot at and stereotype every race. I don't care what color you are or what race you are. Feel free.
Yeah, that's that pretty much happened. And I'll tell you what, the guy fixed my car, took care of it, and he did it a lot cheaper than just about anybody else would have done.
Oh, good, right on.
So, so he took care of business there. But so then I got out of there and moved back to the Lincoln Square area. And now I got my guy across the street here is with a thick pole. I can't get away from guys with accents that are fixing my car. I got a guy, a Polish guy.
It's a prerequisite to be a mechanic because you have to have an accent. You got a Polish guy?
I got a guy.
Wait, does he have a Polish accent? Is it a Mexican guy with a Polish accent, or is it a Polish guy with a Mexican? Help me out.
Yeah, I think I'm ticking off all those boxes you just mentioned.
I'm not
but this guy Naco, I pulled in to see him, and I had a '92 Buick Roadmaster.
Wait, what's his name?
Right?
What's his name?
Naco.
Oh, this is the best. All right, go ahead.
I can't. You know, this is the truth. I pull the car in, and he takes a look at the car, and he can't wait to work on it. And he's this thick accent. He said, "Kevin, I love this car. I can't wait to work on it. But I'm going to tell you, all of the tools for this car are in the garbage." And all of the tools are in the garbage, for the car. And I'm like, okay, so he had to find special tools from like 20-something, almost 30 years ago to fix my car. And he did it.
How old is your car?
It was a 92.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
92. And I, like this guy's telling me, he says, boy, I had to really look for special tools to fix the car because all the tools are in the garbage.
Right.
So got rid of that. That car, just recently I got hit. I had it parked, and it was on a street here in Lincoln Square where a lot of service vehicles are coming in and out, and they're working on stuff. So some big service vehicle must have bashed into the front end of that car.
Oh, no.
And the front end was all screwed up, as well as one of the tires was slashed. And it didn't look like some guy just hit me with his, Nissan Sentra. It looked like somebody put a hurt on it with
it was a heavy piece
tire
of
was
equipment. Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell. So, and luckily the guy left his phone number on my under my wipers.
Oh, did he really?
So I go. Yeah, he did.
Pretty cool.
He was a nice. I thought so. Yeah, because then they took care of everything, and now I got another old piece of shit that I get to drive. Because I got rid of that one, and they actually gave me. They took care of me. For that car. So luckily, I got another one.
No, good for you. Well, dude, cars are different now. I have a 2014 or something. I didn't have a car for years because I was traveling so much. I was on the cruise ships. But when my oldest moved in with me, I had to get a car so she could get around town here. So I finally bought a car like a couple of years ago, and
right.
I really got used to not having a car payment. That's the big leap. When you finally pay off that car, or when you buy, I used to buy pieces of shit all the time. I always bought a car that you just paid for it, and you're like, okay, now it's mine. You know what I mean? It's just no payments, no nothing. You just got to keep working on it or keep getting it fixed.
Yeah, you know what? That's I've always done that. And you get so used to juggling money that way, where you don't have. You just like I go and buy a used car all the time, but I finally got something that's a lot more dependable. I actually did research on this latest one. I bought one of those. It's a Subaru Outback, and those things I was looking it up.
It's a good car.
They last. They say you could push them to 300,000.
Yeah, Subarus are really good, man. I do that. What's it called? Consumer Reports. Anytime I buy something significant, I go to Consumer Reports. And I do complete background on like a fridge or a car. You know what I mean? Like the car. In fact, the car I bought, one of the reasons I bought that car was they have a big transmission problem with those cars, like and that was one of the warning flags I read. They go, be careful, transmission always kicks out. So when I looked at that car, they go, we just put a new transmission in the car like a month before I bought it. I was like, oh shit, I'm in. Mm-hmm. I'll take it then. That means I'm not going to have the transmission issue. If they replaced it already,
no.
You know what I mean? So I'm fine. So I bought that. So that's why. But I learned that from Consumer Reports, dude. I started doing research on like significant. Like I don't care about small stuff. You know what I mean? Like a whatever, like a T-shirt or whatever, a video game. I don't care. But like a fridge, computer, car, anything I plan on having for. Also, I don't buy a new computer, a new car every other year. You know what I mean? When I buy it, I intend on dying with whatever it is I buy. Anything I buy, I'm pretty sure I'm going to die with it. I assume I'm going to die with it. You know what I mean? I don't want to go. Okay. I don't upgrade every year the new phone. I'm not that guy. You know what I mean?
No, I understand what you're saying. When I bought this car, I had a buddy of mine come with me who's also a car guy, and he was impressed with the car right away because I think I bought it off a doctor and it had like 53,000 miles on it.
Wow,
and
that's
20
great.
years old.
Yeah.
So he said. So my buddy checked it out and he said, "This is a good car. If you don't buy it, I'm going to buy it."
Right.
And I thought, then I'm buying this car because my buddy knew what he was talking about. And I've done like you. I've done enough research to know when I got something that's on the better side.
Right.
And I grabbed that, and You know,
and you're
and
smart.
of course,
You're
we're always
smart. Bring a guy. Bring your guy. You got to have a
bring
guy
the
that
guy.
I have guys that know more than me. I don't know shit, but I have friends that know stuff, and I bring them with me
Well,
all
two
the
heads
time.
are better than one.
Yeah, right. Well, or just even usually their head is better than mine. That's what I go with. I'm like, because he'll know more about the car. If he knows cars, that's the smartest thing in the world to do when you buy a car is bring a car guy. Because if he tells you this is a good car, you're like, oh, I'm in. Sorry, sold.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that because I called my friend Ron and I said, "Hey, Ron, he's the car guy," and I said, "Listen, I'm going out there. You want to come with?" And I just rolled the dice, and he said, "Yeah, I'll go with." So we went out there, and you know, once again, Ronnie is not from Canaryville. He's not from the Southside. He's from the Northwest Side. But he decided to tell me a number of the worst jokes I have ever heard in my life on the way out to just buying the car. And I didn't bank on that. I wish I had a recording of everybody who told me inappropriate jokes.
Yeah, right.
In my life, you know, I think they all still. To me, every bad joke I've ever heard stems from Kelly's Tavern in Canaryville.
That's probably ground zero for all of those jokes. Every single joke.
I'm thinking
was written right there at the
that's
bar.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, right in the middle. I know exactly what bar stool too.
Sure, yeah, right.
Right next to three. Yeah, I used to sit next to these three guys: woulda, coulda, and shoulda. Those are the three guys I always sat next to in Canaryville, and because it didn't matter what I was doing, they're always telling me what they woulda, coulda, shoulda, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is entertaining as all hell.
Oh, that's
and it was also I remember I went to we had two taverns in Canaryville that have existed in the time have sustained themselves. I should say. Kelly's Tavern, and there was also the Village, a place called the Village.
All right.
Lenny, let me tell you about the Village. I was off on a Saturday night one time, and you know we're always working on Saturday nights, but I was off on a Saturday night, and I got a phone call from the guys in Canaryville. They're like, "Hey, why don't you come over and have a beer? We'll be at the Village at 6 o'clock." I said, "Okay." So get in the car, go down to the Village. I walk in, and I hadn't been in the neighborhood in years, and I got a chance to see people that I hadn't seen since grade school, and that's a long time ago for a guy like me.
Yeah.
I mean, a long.
No, I hear you, brother.
And I start saying hello to all these guys that I haven't seen in a long time, and the bartender comes up, and by the way, they only have 5, maybe 6 different kinds of canned beer at the Village. That's it.
Okay. Wait,
got
let me
Bud,
guess.
Bud Light.
Hams. Bud
I
Light.
wish they had hams.
They don't have hams.
Bud Light.
All right,
Don't
Bud
have
Light.
hams. I wish they had hams.
Well, what do they have? Bud Light, Miller Light,
Old style, Miller Light.
Right.
Let's see what else is there. There might be, and that's the 4. Oh, and the 5th one is Coors Light because Stevie Baker's got to have Coors Light. Yeah. And if you don't put it in there, he's going to complain, and I don't want to hear it.
That's the worst beer ever.
So, he likes it. I tried Coors Light. I can't stand it.
And it tastes
so the bartender comes. It's terrible.
It's like water. It's terrible. It is easily the worst beer in the world.
Yeah, very light. So the bartender comes walking up, and I'm saying hello to all these people I haven't seen forever. And the bartender comes up and he says, "What can I get you?" And I said, I was going to buy 2 or 3 guys of beer. I said, "Well," and then I realized I can't buy 1 or 2 guys of beer. I know all these guys. I haven't seen them forever. I said, "Out of hell with it. I'm out for the night." So I called the bartender over. I said, "Hey, how much would it cost me to buy a round for the house?" Because there was about 20 guys at the bar, and and the guys that I knew were in the back room, about 15 or 20 of them.
Okay.
And the bartender looks at me and he puts his hands up like it's a holder. He goes, "Oh, you want to buy a round for the house, huh?"
Ooh, Mr. Fancy Man.
Yeah, exactly. And I said, "Well, yeah, I just can't buy a beer for 1 or 2 guys." He comes in real close. He says, "Give me $25."
Oh, right on.
20.
That's a steal.
For a round for the house.
Why wouldn't you do that?
I know.
Yeah, in a heartbeat. Yeah.
I gave him 50, and I was a hero for the rest of the night.
Right,
People I didn't even know were thanking me. You know how hard it is to get somebody from Canaryville to come up and say thank you? Get the hell out of here.
Well, apparently, he's got to buy him a beer.
Yeah, that was the kicker right there. But
you told me the story before, but somebody at the bar said something when you bought a round for the house. You got to say what it was. Because who else is from Canaryville, comic wise?
Johnny Caponera.
Okay. Didn't somebody say didn't somebody at the bar go, "Caponera never bought a round for the house"?
That's exactly what happened later. That night, somebody said all the way in the corner, I hear, hey, guys are coming up saying thank you, thanks a lot, and somebody yells out, Johnny Caponera never bought a fucking round for the house. Johnny's grandma used to own that place.
Yo, that's the best.
And that was Johnny bartended there before he actually went to Zany's at North Avenue and Wells and started bartending. He bartended and was a comic there. Well, you know that, right?
Yeah.
What a background, man.
Dude, I love that story. I love that comment. I think I told Caponera that once when I was over at Rick's watching football.
Did you? Man, because if you don't, the next time I see Johnny, I got to tell him.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it. This last year was kind of a blur over at Rick's watching football because nobody really went. You know what I mean? We were all locked up. We
Really?
couldn't do shit. Yeah, it was
that's right.
The fucking COVID. So Steve didn't go at all. First of all, Seagram, because he hit every box on the fucking COVID risk list. You know what I mean? Like every older guy, overweight, had heart trouble, all this stuff,
Wow.
So he's like, he didn't go anywhere during COVID. So when he got the vaccine, he was there for the draft because he sent me a message for the draft, but I couldn't go that night for some reason. But he went that night. Once he got the vaccine, he was back. Like Cap did the same thing. Cap was there once or twice, but I went to Rick's to watch football a few times. It was really just me. It was me and Rick for a few times.
Wow.
Usually there's 20 guys, at least about 20 guys watching football. It's the same 20 writers and comics that are always hanging out there. But
now do you guys still play softball over there?
There's wiffle ball. He's got a wiffle ball stadium. So
that's what it is. Wiffle ball.
So he's got like a tin. And I'll be honest with you, man. I think we're all too old for wiffle ball. There's a younger generation of guys that came in. They're nephews of people like Rick's nephew and some other guys, and Ahmed and some other guys that are younger. And every once in a while they'll play. But I haven't played wiffle ball in years, man. I haven't. I don't know if I can. I would throw out my arm. I can't. Just throwing is trouble for me. I can. I don't know if you can hear it. There's booms. There's a lot of clicking going on in the shoulder right now when I make this move. It's just that. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm not. I can't really be throwing.
Yeah, I get that same thing every time I try to do a sit up. There's crunching and noises I didn't know my body could make. That now it's making it, and it doesn't stop. And now I look forward to hearing click click because it sounds like if I'm doing the right technique with the sit up or the crunch, I know it by the sound of my body with the crunching. So that sounds like a familiar bad noise. At least I'm doing that.
Dude, that's funny. You got to write that down. You got to put that in the act. That's very funny. That's how you know you're exercising.
Well, thank you.
That's how you know you're exercising. Now you know them by sound. Like your trainer explains. If your knee clicks 4 times, you're doing it well. Oh, good. Thanks a lot.
I thought I needed to go see a surgeon, but apparently I'm fine. I'm eating enough.
You're fine. For your age, you're good. Your age. For your fine. I'm sorry. I'm going to go. I got in my head, I just thought of something because I think avocados are very good for the joints. Like they help, lubricate. I think that they are. I think that they help you to sustain yourself. They're a good fat, and they do really well. And every time I think of an avocado, I think of when I was living in Lincoln Square here. I live in an apartment building where they take care of the apartment building, so I don't have to worry about bugs or any kind of infestation. Right.
They take care of it. They come over here, they spray, they lay the things down, they do what they got to do. Now, I moved to Canaryville, where the owner of my place is my buddy Mickey. So I didn't know this, but my brother was telling me after I caught a mouse in my apartment, and I hadn't seen a mouse in years. I mean, decades. I'm like, what's going on here? Yeah. And my youngest brother tells me he's living across the street in my mom's house, and he said, he says, listen, everybody's got them. He said, you just have to know how to control them with the traps and this and that. I said, okay, but I was concerned because, Lenny, one of the things that I've done over the past, say, 10 years is I've completely changed my diet, and I eat extremely healthy. Right. I drink green drinks, the smoothie drinks. I prepare them every day.
Yeah,
I'm worried about myself because I know listen, if I just live as Kevin Naughton, I'm inches away from death, and I know it. So now let me help myself with a decent, diet. Right. And the problem is, like, I could always, like in my apartment now, I could put some avocados on my counter. I don't have to worry about infestation. But in Canaryville, I had like a couple of avocados sitting there. I wake up the next day and I see all the scratching marks, and these rodents are eating my avocado. Now I got rodents running around my apartment with superfoods in them, and I'm concerned that they're probably going to get bigger and just more crazy. And it's just one of them. They're going to be picking their teeth, sitting in one of my chairs, going, "Hey, where you been? I just had one of your avocados. It was great, man."
Your mice are going to have have a 6-pack. You know what I mean? You have the the healthiest mice in the world are at your place.
He's sitting there. He's going, that avocado is a good fat you got there.
That's a really good fat. Can you get some? You leave some of that juice out later. That would be great if you let some juice out.
Yeah, if you could. I just that blueberry. What's that?
The mice thing. Would gross me out, dude. We're living with rodents would not be.
Man, I wasn't. I hear you. I wasn't happy about it, but at the same time, I had to deal with it. And so my brother told me, you got to put everything away, put it inside the cupboards, put it inside the refrigerator. So I put everything in the fridge. Then you know what happened after that? The fridge broke down.
Oh no.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, the fridge broke. I can't win.
Yeah, you know what? That was the mice sabotaging the fridge. That's how the superfoods in your mice made them smart enough to go in and break that fridge. That's what happened. And they said, "Oh, really?"
So I got So now I got a busted fridge, and I call my buddy Mickey. I love Mickey. I said, "Hey, Mick." I said, "Listen, there's something wrong with the fridge." I said, "I need your attention." So he comes over, checks it out, and of course the rhetorical question, "What the fuck?" comes out of his mouth. That's right. He looks at the fridge and he goes, "What the fuck?" And I thought, well, that's not a good. That's not a good question.
That's not a good observation at all.
So Lenny, check it out. What does Mickey do? Mickey's got tenants all over Canaryville. So he had an open apartment, right, with nobody renting. So he goes over there and he takes the big fridge out of there. He takes mine and puts that one over in the empty one gives me somebody else's fridge. Yeah, so somebody's going to move in and their fridge is not going to be working.
Oh, right. Yeah, but you got you got a fridge. Yeah.
I got a fridge. So me and my rats and my mice are happy again.
You guys win.
We win. Yeah, we get refrigerated food and we got avocados again. Everything is it was looking better back there. But I had to get the hell out of there. That was just, it was interesting to if I come out my front door in Lincoln Square, I've got a tavern on every corner.
Right.
Someplace to go.
Yeah.
Well, before the pandemic, of course.
Yeah, right.
But in Canaryville, you go out the front door and these are all families. These are people that they go to bed by 10 o'clock.
Right.
I'm getting home at midnight, Then if I go do a club, I'm even later than that.
Yeah, right.
So it's just a little bit of a different lifestyle, but that's okay.
Well, how far away were the taverns from your house in Canaryville? I mean, in Chicago, there's like a tavern every block or two, or every couple of blocks, for the most part.
That's a real good question. When I was in high school and coming out of high school, they had in Canaryville, they counted and they said that, and my math skills are terrible. They said something about we had more taverns in Canaryville than any other neighborhood in Chicago. And I thought, wow, that's a lot. And we did have a lot, but now we're just down to 2.
Wow.
We used to have in Canaryville, they put a tavern in the middle of the block. And if somebody was living there, they'd say, "You got to go. We're making a tavern out of this place. Okay, let's go."
Yeah.
And because we used to, when my family first moved to Canaryville in the early 60s, my old man got a job at a place called O'Malley's. Go figure, right? In an Irish neighborhood.
Dude, you're full of them, man. O'Malley's, Kelly. I love the names you throw out. What was the Polish name again?
Yeah. That was Nako.
Nako, O'Malley's, Kelly's. Dude, I love it. My buddy Mickey. It's the best.
Oh, yeah, Mickey Tagler. That guy was the best. He was my landlord. Everything was "what the fuck" and "I don't give a shit, Kev." The 2 responses I'd give it. "What the fuck? I don't give a shit."
That's great. Thanks.
So. Yeah, no. When we first moved there was O'Malley's Tavern, and it was in the middle of the block, and it was in a section of Canaryville called that they nicknamed Canaryville Heights.
What?
Which was called
really?
They called it.
First of all, Canaryville's not that big anyway. Why are you taking a part of Canaryville and making a Heights out of it? Is that the fancy?
Because there's a lot of.
Good.
Listen, I know that that's a question, and I know it's a rhetorical question. I actually have an answer for it.
Oh, good.
The reason that Canaryville has, according to some of the people who live there, a heights section is because there are a lot of jagoffs living in Canaryville.
Right.
That's why they have a heights section.
Okay.
And I didn't know I was living, when we moved there, I didn't know that, that there was a heights, but they nicknamed it that. And to this day, you see, back what happened was we moved there in 1963. And around 1968, my father shot and wounded my next door neighbor.
Ooh.
Right? Okay. Well, see, here's what you do. You don't give an Irishman with a bad temper who loves to drink Schlitz and CC whiskey.
Oh.
Don't give him a handgun.
Okay.
And he had a handgun. So he got mad one day and he just flew off the handle and he shot the neighbor 4 times. He didn't kill him. It was attempted murder. Yeah.
Well,
so
he
tried,
then,
but he couldn't.
You could shoot a guy 4 times back then in the 60s. It was okay.
Well, yeah. It's another good point, Lenny. This is long before it was hip to shoot somebody in Chicago.
Right.
So he plugs him 4 times, and my dad had to serve some serious time for aggravated assault. Which was amazing to me because he spent some serious time in Cook County, and then they sent him down to the judge found him manic depressive paranoia. So they sent him to Chester, Illinois, to do big time in the big house,
right?
Which is like this is where all the people like Hannibal Lecter would be.
Yeah, that's a bad prison. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
why would they send him down there if they found him? They wait. What? The judge found him manic depressive. Why would you send him to a big penitentiary if he's manic depressive? That seems crazy.
He shot the guy. Well, I don't know. Thank you.
He shot the guy. He shot the guy. Oh, you're right. Short answer, he shot the guy. Okay, fair enough. That seems right.
Yeah,
My bad.
he shot a guy, so they said, you got to go. So they send him down to this mental institution with the axe murderers and the psychopaths and Hannibal Lecter and my father.
Yeah.
And check this out. So I remember it was like Easter Sunday, and the parish priest came by with the station wagon, and we loaded it up with chicken and blankets, and we went down. It was near St. Louis. So we're driving from Chicago to St. Louis, and I never thought we could do it, but we sang that 99 bottles of beer on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it if you push yourself, okay? You could sing it, the whole thing.
The whole thing.
So we get to the whole. So we did the whole thing. We get down there, and as soon as we get down there, whoever was conducting the tour to tell us, you show us around. I don't know if it was a warden or one of his supervisors. The guy said to us, and my dad was down there for maybe a year, and the supervisor comes up. The guy in charge says, "Hey, I don't want you guys to worry. Your he's going to get out of here because he's a model prisoner." And I'm thinking, a model prisoner. Yeah, that's a compliment that comes along just a little too late right there, that you are a model prisoner. Okay. Couldn't you have been a model citizen?
Yeah,
and then we wouldn't have to worry about you being a model prisoner.
Yeah.
But not my old man. Yeah. He plugged him 4 times. And you know what, Lenny, come on. He didn't even kill the guy. He just shot him. I mean, what the hell is wrong with this? Lee Harvey Oswald, you can't even take care of business?
Well, he was drinking, right? He was drunk.
He
was
hammered.
So if he was drunk, his aim was probably off a little bit, don't you think?
His aim, yeah.
Purr. There's probably more bullets in a wall down there somewhere that he missed completely.
Well, we would like to think that those are just memories. Is what those bullets are. That's what they are.
It's like when you were a kid growing up and you would cross the line when you got taller, 5 feet and 3 feet, 3rd grade, 2nd grade. You guys had bullet holes in the wall with arrows next to it. Great. Yeah. Remember the cookout from '74? That was great. Remember those ribs?
Yeah.
That's when Grandpa shot Uncle Tony. Right there. Here's another bullet over here. Just like different bullets everywhere. It's just a different way.
And then isn't that something? Jimmy's getting taller. Yeah.
Yeah, that little guy. I remember when a bullet like that would never take him down, but now.
Oh man! And then they had like there was cop. He shoots the guy 4 times, and there was cops all over my house. All over.
Yeah.
I mean, just really fast.
How old
So
were
cops
you?
in the yard.
How old were you when this happened?
I was about 7.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was cops all over the house, in the house, and all of a sudden, in the yard with a bullhorn is this cop with an Irish brogue, and my father is standing in the kitchen still, and he's got he's bare chested. He's got a 52-inch beer gut. He's got an empty can of Schlitz, an empty bottle of CC whiskey, and a smoking gun.
Right.
And the cop says, he gets on the bullhorn. He's like, "All right, Jim, we know you're in there. Put the gun down. Coming out with your hands up." So my old man was the kind of guy who'd repeat it back to you. "You want me to put the gun down and coming out with my hands up?" "That's right, Jim. Put the gun down and coming out with your hands up." So my old man puts the gun down, walks outside, and the cop gets a look at him, bare-chested, 52-inch beer gut, and goes, "Jim, go back inside, put your shirt on, and come back out with your hands up." I'm telling you, that
really?
happened.
That's the first ever.
That's what. That really happened, brother. That twisted sense of humor came out of the Chicago Police Department.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I remember we were sitting on the couch, me and my 2 brothers and my sister and my mom. We were shaking like leaves, but all of a sudden that happened, and I started laughing. And I went, "Oh!" I said to my brothers and my sister and my mom, I said, "They saw Daddy's belly. They saw Daddy's belly."
Yeah.
Oh. So anyway, he goes and he does they take him away, and he does time. And we're still living next to the guy that was shot. Now, he recovered, and my father got out of jail for a short period of time before he was sentenced to the big house. And I saw him go over, and he apologized to the neighbor. They had to make amends because we're living right next to each other in Canaryville,
Right.
And, so he says he's sorry to this guy and, all this other stuff. And it was absolutely, it was bizarre, But what had happened was when finally my father served all that time, after a couple years, he went from maximum security to minimum security. He went the minimum security was in Chicago off the Eisenhower Expressway and First Avenue. It was Loyola had a minimum security mental institution there called, I'm not making this up, Madden Mental Health Center.
Really?
Madden.
That's good.
Yeah.
No one really planned that out well.
It reminds me of the kid who got busted for betting at Northwestern, one of their basketball players years ago, and his last name was Gamble. I'm like, can you make it easier? I think you could make it easier. That was his name.
You can make it easier.
What the hell? So what happened was, finally, my father, he served like 2.5 years at all these institutions, and finally he gets in front of the judge for the parole, and the judge looks at my dad and he says, "Okay, listen, you've got 4 kids and a wife. I want you to go home, go to work, take care of your family. But you can't live next door to Stanley anymore because you shot him, okay? I don't want you living there anymore. So you got to move." So that means that the Naughton family got kicked out of Canaryville Heights. How bad do you have to be to get kicked out of Canaryville Heights? And this still gets thrown in my face anytime I go back home to Canaryville.
I bet. No, it's got to be. Yeah. Go ahead.
My friend Sean Callahan, he always brings that up to me. Yeah. His nickname is Bag, by the way.
Bag?
That's his second nickname, Bag. Bag Callahan. He always brings that up to me. Well, see, there's a lot of guys in Canaryville. There's a lot of nicknames.
Right, of course, yeah.
And originally, do you remember the Ray Rayner show?
Yes, of course. I used to watch it every morning.
Okay. Remember
Chauncey.
that duck?
He had a guy, Chauncey, right? Chauncey. Is that
That
right?
was his producer.
Oh, that was his producer. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Well, they had a pet duck, and the duck was Chelveston.
Chelveston. Okay. All right.
Chelveston the duck, or Chelvy for short.
Right.
Well, one day my friend Sean Callahan is walking down the street in Canaryville, and my buddy Joey Campbell, whose nickname was Soupy, okay, Soupy Campbell. It's stupid. I'm sorry.
No, it's the best. I love any Canaryville story because it's always it's Tommy Johnson. His nickname is the Shoe, and it's always everybody's got a nickname. I love it.
That's close. Tommy Lawler's nickname was Shoes. Tommy Lawler is Shoes. Yeah, Shoes Lawler. I'm not making that up. This is true.
No, you're not.
Anyway, this is what I'm bringing to the table, Lenny.
No,
Just
I love
lower
it.
your standards.
That's what I was looking for. Hell no, man.
Okay, anyway, so
bag.
Go ahead, brother.
Bag. So get back to bag. Okay.
Well, I am, but I was going to give you his first nickname was Chelveston.
Okay, so all right, then why did they go with the second one? Did he not want to be called the duck name, or what was the deal?
That you're getting ahead of me. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
He was walking down the street and Soupy Campbell yelled out, "Look at you! You walk like a duck. Hey, Chelveston. Hey, Chelvy." He starts yelling at him.
Oh, that's funny.
This name.
Sure.
And the name stuck.
Yeah.
It stuck. So I'm going to say he was probably like 7 years old, and for like 10 years he was known as Sean Callahan was known as Chelvy.
Yeah.
Hey, Chelveston, Chelvy, and he hated the nickname.
Right.
He hated that nickname so much that it took him years to. He said, "I'm going to break the whole neighborhood of calling me that nickname." So every time somebody would call him, "Hey, Chelvy," he would turn to him and go, "Sean will do."
Oh, all right. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Chelvy, Sean will do. Hey, Chelvy, Sean will do. And he kept saying Sean will do until my jack-off friend Pat Baker wanted to nickname him Sean will do.
Now, I was going to say, that's a perfect nickname now. Hey, Sean will do. Oh, come on. Guys, give me a break.
Yeah. Well, here's what happens. The fucking guy, he finally broke the entire neighborhood of calling him Chelvy, except for maybe 2 or 3 guys. But, that's the way it goes. But that's hard to do, to get somebody to stop calling you the nickname.
Right.
So he gets almost 99+%. He breaks the neighborhood of calling him Chelveston. And then one day, we're all hanging out in front of Kelly's Tavern, standing around in the big circle of insults. And guys are just flying at each other, just busting each other's balls left and right. This is terrible, and hilariously terrible. Lenny, you would have loved this. You would have fit right into this.
Yeah.
This was a mess.
Yeah.
And finally,
you're perfect for this. It was a mess.
This is a perfect mess to be involved in. And what had happened was Callahan started talking, and see, Sean Callahan by nature sounds just like Gilbert Gottfried, but he doesn't know it.
Okay.
He was Gilbert Gottfried character before Gilbert Gottfried found that character.
Right.
Yeah, he was like that. He had that voice that just cut metal. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And he's out in front. We're all out in front of Kelly's once. We're all busting chops on each other, and all of a sudden somebody couldn't take his voice anymore and said, "Shut up, you old bag." And it stuck.
And it's.
And he just got done.
He just beaten the duck thing.
He just beat the Chelvy thing, and all of a sudden, they just give him bag, and it sticks. Oh, and by the way, I gotta digress for a moment. You mentioned the other nickname, Chauncey.
Yeah.
They gave Sean. There were 7 Callahan kids, so they gave Sean Chelveston as his nickname, or Chelvy for short. And his brother Richie became Chauncey, the producer. They nicknamed Richie Chauncey. Yeah, it's a family affair.
Sure.
So they nickname him Bag, and it sticks, and everybody's just roaring, laughing about, this is good for him. Bag is his new nickname. So the next day he calls me up and he says, and my nickname in the old neighborhood is Doc, and I'll cover that for you in a moment, but let me get through this part, okay? So he calls me up and he goes, "Doc, I can't take it. It's another nickname and it's Bag." He says, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I said, "Well, Sean, you might want to try to embrace it." So you know what this guy did? He thought about it, and he must have embraced it, because he decided to put on his own golf outing. So every year, the week after Father's Day, about 25 guys from Canaryville get together, and they go to his golf outing, which is known as the Bag Nasty Open. 25 guys getting hammered.
Yeah.
The 2 rules are you have to drink and you cannot be any good at golf.
Gee, do you guys charter the whole golf course? That's got to be. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, "Can I play through?" You hear that a lot when you guys are out there doing this thing?
No. Well, that's a good point. What we do is we try to get it booked early enough to warn everybody. But what happens also is, like we had, he did it at a few places in Chicago, and then all of a sudden he went up to Alpine Valley. They have a resort up there with a golf course. So we were doing Alpine Valley for probably about 10 years until finally Alpine Valley couldn't take the bag
nasty,
open.
Yeah,
the bag. They
bag
couldn't take
open.
the shit anymore. So they sent them a letter. Dear Mr. Callahan, we no longer will allow you to play golf at us. So they got kicked out of the golf course. So now they had to go somewhere else.
Right.
So yeah, now he found a place that you could. Now there's a place in Michigan somewhere where you could rent the whole place out, just you and your people for the weekend, as long as you pay the price. And and that way there's no, like you said, there's nobody to play through. There's nobody to worry about other than your guys, and nobody cares.
Right. Yeah. No, that's smart.
Yep.
Then you get the place for the whole weekend. That's the way to do it. If you're gonna take,
Yeah.
not like Caddyshack where they had caddy day at the pool and they only had like an hour and they come running in like maniacs. You need a whole weekend, like a whole weekend where no one else is there. Yeah. That way there's no complaints.
Yeah.
You're fine. That's brilliant.
Yeah, they. Yeah. So anytime Callahan gets on me because we got kicked out of the Canaryville Heights, I get on him about getting kicked out of the Alpine Valley Resort.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one too. But I can imagine how they throw Canary Heights in your face all the time. That's something you'll never live down. You know what I mean? It's gonna be there forever.
I know it's kind of like, I always equate it with Ozzy getting kicked out of Black Sabbath. How bad do you have to be to get kicked out of Black Sabbath for doing drugs?
Yeah.
And how bad do you have to be to get kicked out of Canaryville? It's really something because everybody knows, like, my whole family is really good people. They're very mild-mannered, easy to get along with people. My two brothers, my sister, my mom. My mom was an angel, but my dad, he would just He tried to save a few bucks moving to Canaryville in the early '60s, and he found out that he should have paid an extra $10 on the rent and stayed where he was. Yeah. He'd have been better off, man.
Well, first of all, Robbie's here, and she said hi, so I want to make sure that I relay the proper information because she is here. But she said hello, Kevin. So, and usually I'm going to the board. Every once in a while, people throw a question out. I have a follower, Brenda Runyon, watches the show all the time, and she says she loves your stories. She says your stories are so crazy. I know there's no way you made that stuff up.
She's right about that. Thank you.
That's accurate. Yeah, those are 100% accurate stories. All right, we'll get now. How did you get Doc? How were you the guy that fixed guys up after they got roughed up down there, or what happened? What was the Doc nickname come from?
Well, I played baseball all the way through college, and I got that nickname when I was 12 years old. And I was, do you remember the patrol boys who wore when you were in 7th grade, 8th grade, you wore an orange belt indicating that you were to help the kids walk across the street?
Yeah, I was one of those guys.
In grade school.
You could roll the belt up, and then the cool thing was if you rolled the belt up, you could hang it from your belt loop and walk around during the day so everybody knew you were a safety guard or a crossing guard. You're a safety guy or whatever.
Right.
So I would wear that because I thought it was cool until I realized you were a dork. You know what I mean? At first I was like, at first I'm like, this is really cool. Then after a while I go, oh, this is like a magnet to get beat up. This is terrible. This is not cool at all.
I can't believe you just said that because I came upon that conclusion a few years ago as I was thinking about what we did and how we did it in grade school. And it's so important to be cool or to try to be cool.
Yeah.
And I just realized not only was I not cool, nobody was cool. It wasn't just me. It was all of us. We were trying to be cool, and we were trying so hard that we were so uncool. So I should have been more comfortable knowing that I was in this incredibly uncool atmosphere, and I was just like everybody else. But I wasn't like that. I always felt like I was uncool.
Well,
no, you don't.
You don't know any of that. Well, I always do. I've been working on a bit lately. It's longer, but the point of the bit is when I was younger, I wanted to be accepted and cool and everybody to like me, and I wanted everybody to notice me.
Sure.
And the older I get, I don't want anyone to call me. I'm good. If there's a big party with all my friends and they forget to call me, I would be like, oh, that's awesome. I can just stay home. I don't have to be in the big group anymore. When I was younger, I was like, why wouldn't you call me? Well, there's a big thing. Everyone was there. Why wasn't I there? You know what I mean? When I was younger, that was very important to me. The older I get, I don't care. I'm like, I would rather not go. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm fine.
that is amazing because when I was 12 years old, I had to make that determination. I started to look at the other people, and I thought, well, do I want to actually? What do I care about their company? They don't care if I'm here anyway at this party. They don't care about me. So I decided at the age of 12, I'm just going to go and stay away from these people. So I did, and it freed my mind up at a very young age to worry about things that were more important, like school. And I was playing baseball for years, and I knew I could excel at that. So I was fortunate I could move on and do that. But yeah, grade school was a real trip in Canaryville because every guy wanted to be everything that a guy wants to be, but he wants to be that when he's like 12.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, when you're not any of it. You're the opposite of all of that at 12. You know what I mean? You're like you're just 12.
And you don't want to admit it because your ego's on the roof.
Yeah, and your hormones are all over the place. You don't know what's going on. You're very confused. You think you're cool. You're not even close. You know what I mean? You're just you know, you do something you think it's. I don't know how kids do it today, bro. Because my daughters are teenagers. They're older now. Like one's in college and Lily's in junior. But I don't know how they do it today. Because when you were young, if you screwed up, like you could, a few months it would kind of go away. Sometimes, like you could walk away and you could make some things disappear. Time would, you know, or people would just know in your school. So not everybody would know. Remember, people in school would know stuff about you, but then your friends at home wouldn't know. I mean, there was some sort of seclusion, or at least some sort of compartmentalizing of it. Nowadays, these kids are on social media. Everything you do is in everybody's face, 24 hours a day. So I don't know how you live with that pressure. That's insane.
You know, that's interesting. You say that the way you said that because what happened to me was the guys I grew up with in Canaryville. Whatever we did as children in Canaryville, whatever mistake you made, they will allow that to be carried with me all the way through. I'll give you an example. I was 9 years old, and I was attacked by Callahan's dog, Rivets. Okay,
was this the dog's name, or was it his nickname?
That was. Thank you. I must say that it was his name.
Okay, right on.
Because I got a hunch his nickname would be very violent. But no, Rivets attacked my leg once, and I couldn't shake him off. I was 9 years old, right?
Right.
I couldn't shake him off, and I'm walking down the street with my buddy Moochie, right? And he instead of him helping me,
your buddy Moochie.
Yeah, Moochie.
I love every fucking name in Canaryville's the best. No, they're the best.
He ain't right. But now he sees me getting attacked by this dog, trying to shake the dog off my leg, and he won't even help me. He's just standing there laughing.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So, okay, so that happens when I'm 9. You know what this guy does, Moochie? We go to a Cubs game. We're sitting in the bleachers at Wrigley. It's like 40 years later, he brings it up to embarrass me.
Hey, Kev, remember? Hey, Doc, remember when you were 7 or 9?
Yeah, you were 9 years old. Remember the time Callahan's dog was all over you? So I had to come back with what I think. I said, yeah. I looked at him and I said, you know, Mooch, I was 9 when that happened. Can't you let it go? I was 9. And then I looked at him and I said, you remember that time you got busted by the cops for breaking and entering when we were down in Whitewater, Wisconsin? And you got busted for breaking and entering and public nudity because you went. You want to hear about this? You want to hear about this, Len?
Yeah, I want to hear about it. Yeah, you can't start the story and then detour from it. You got to tell the story.
Moochie and I went to see our 2 brothers, Boomer and Noodles.
How you were killing me, man.
Come on, man.
Noodles, because it's the best. First of all, how old were you during this story? How old are you during this story?
During this story, going to see my brothers in college, I was 21.
Okay, cool. All right, okay. So
Moochie's 22.
You and Moochie and Noodles
well, me and Moochie, we go up to Whitewater, Wisconsin to see our 2 brothers, Noodles and Boomer. Okay. All right. So we go up to see them. We have a really good time, and they show us where all the hot spots are to drink and carry on and look at girls and everything, you know. So we go there, and we're getting. It was a Saturday. We started drinking at like 9:30 in the morning, watching cartoons and drinking. By 9:30 at night, I'd never heard Moochie say this before, but he says, "Doc, that's it. I can't drink anymore." I said, "Okay, come on. I'll walk you to because the house was a couple blocks away, and they lived in a big apartment with about 5 guys, and then next to them was a vacant lot that used to be a house there, and now it's just grass and mud and rocks. And then next to that is a fraternity house. Okay. Well, Moochie, he calls it a night, and I said, "Come on, I'll walk you back to the place. I'm going to stay out and drink a little longer." So I walk him back to the crib, and he goes inside, and I come out. I go back to the taverns, and I think I went back and forth a couple times, and when I went back to check up on Moochie, I saw that he was in the kitchen in his briefs, in his white briefs, okay? And he's pouring himself a bowl of Frosted Flakes at like midnight.
Okay.
Okay. So he's eating the Frosted Flakes. I said, okay, he's fine. So I go back to the taverns, and about a half hour, 45 minutes later, I come back, and it was a foggy night. It's like 12:30 in the morning. I come back, and all the guys that I was hanging with at the house, my brother Noodles and Boomer, and they're all sitting in a circle, and they're all passing a joint around. Everybody's smoking, and they looked at me and they said, "Hey, where's Moochie?" And I said, "He came in early. He should be sleeping." And they said, "Nah, he's not sleeping." I said, "Well, all right, where is he?" They said, "Well, we were hoping you'd know." I said, "I don't know." I said, "He's got to be somewhere." So they said, "No, we looked all over the place," and they keep smoking a joint. We looked all over. We can't find him.
Sure.
And they convinced me that they can't find the guy. So I said, "Oh man!" So we're talking, and I said, "Well, have you checked here? In the middle of my hey, have you checked here? And you haven't checked there?" All of a sudden, I look out the front window, and I could see the police with the lights go by the house. And I flippantly say, "Well, why don't we follow the cops? Maybe we'll find Moochie."
Of course. Right. Seems logical to me. Let's go.
Be careful what you ask for. You just might get it.
Right.
The cops ended up stopping. Remember I told you there's our house, then there was a vacant lot with grass and mud and rocks, and next to that was a frat house.
Right.
Well, apparently the frat house was empty for the night because all the boys were out drinking and carrying on. So the squad car stopped at the frat house with the lights going, kept the lights on. So we come out of the house looking, and we still can't find Moochie. So I went up to one of the police officers, and I said, "Excuse me, officer." I said, "What's going on?" They said, "We don't know. Somebody got in here breaking and entering." And somebody said, "Hey, you better get him some clothes." So one of the cops said to the other cop, "Get him some clothes." So the cop goes into the squad car, and he pulls out, you remember those raincoats you wore when you were 5 years old, the yellow ones with those big buckles on it? They got one of those to bring in.
Okay.
And the cops were very nice. They said to me, "Listen, we don't know who this guy is, but somebody broke in here, and he's naked, and he's covered in mud and blood, and we don't know who this guy is." So I said, "Oh," and they said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, we're looking for our buddy Moochie." And he looks at me, he goes, "Moochie?" I said, "Yeah, Kevin McHale is his name, but his nickname is Moochie." They said, "Well, we don't know who this guy is, but we're going to bring him out in a minute." And I said, "Okay, we're going to be right here in case that's him."
Right.
So, they had the lights going, and then they put a flashlight on the front door. And, it's like us doing a show, Lenny. You want the lighting to be perfect. It was perfect lighting for his entrance. So, because here's what I think happened before I get to his entrance. What I think happened was he ate his Frosted Flakes. He was in his tighty whities. He probably got a little nauseous, so he went outside in front of the house, probably to get some fresh air. As he was trying to get some fresh air, he probably slipped and fell in the mud. And he got all filthy. And then maybe he cut himself, so now he's bloody and he's muddy. So then he falls down and he loses his sense of direction. He ends up, instead of getting up and walking into the right house, he goes to the house next door, the frat house. And he apparently walked in there. He banged into I guess one of the guys had a shelf full of odds and ends and knickknacks and things that and he just knocked that over. Okay. So now he's breaking the fucking place up. And he passes out on the bed, and he's got mud and blood all over him and all over the bed sheets, and he's just sleeping. So when the guys come home from having a party night, they see this knucklehead passed out on their bed, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
It's like
they call the cops.
It's like Goldilocks.
Yeah. Cops show up. They bring him a raincoat, and they say, "Well, we don't know who this guy is, but come on out. Here he is." And here comes Moochie. wearing that little raincoat that's barely covering his nutsack, okay? And he's with and he's handcuffed, and the first words out of his mouth are, "What's happening, Holmes?" to everybody. Oh, that they threw him in jail. Me and Boomer, his brother, we went to jail to sit, and we waited for him, and they kept him all night. And they wanted $400. This is this is a long time ago. They wanted like $400. We're all college kids. We didn't have $400.
Yeah, right.
So we had to call Moochie's mom, Mrs. Moochie.
Mrs. Moochie.
And we had Mrs. Moochie.
Hey, Mrs.
And we told her
Moochie,
what happened.
It's Doc and Boomer.
Yeah. Well, Boomer called his mom. That's Boomer's mom. So
yeah,
Boomer
right.
said, she said, "Hey, listen, we need $400. What happened? Kevin got arrested for public nudity and breaking and entering. So we need $400 to bail him out." And Mrs. McHale said something. I don't know what she said to him, but her and Mrs. Raditz got into the car and drove up to Whitewater, Wisconsin.
From Canaryville? Really? All the way up?
From Canaryville.
Wow.
All the way. It took about
sucks.
2.5 hours.
Yeah. Oh, God.
2.5 hours. They came up. They paid it off. And as they came in to pay it off, I looked at them. I got up. I walked up to Mrs. McHale, and I said, "Mrs. McHale, I just want to tell you." And she looks at me, and she says, "Doc, shut up." Shut up. I don't want to hear it. And I said, "But let me." She says, "Shut up. I don't want to hear it until all of you guys are 30 years old, and then you could tell me everything." And I said, "But Miss," she goes, "Shut up."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay."
Yeah. All right.
And then we had to let it go. And that boy, that's the guy that brings up rivets attacking me at the age of 9.
Yeah, that guy
and I
shouldn't
looked
be
at him and I said,
he shouldn't be bringing up anything ever.
"Ever."
Yeah.
No, you're 22, 23,
Yeah.
and you're naked,
Yeah.
breaking and entering,
Covered in
bloody
mud.
and muddy.
Come on, dude. Bloody and
Yeah,
muddy.
man.
Bloody and muddy.
And you got
that should be his nickname, Bloody and Muddy.
Bloody and Muddy Moochie. That guy, man. That guy. But you were asking me, too, how I got my nickname. We
Yeah.
never finished that, right?
No, you gotta tell me how you got Doc.
I was one of those patrol boys, and I was standing on one corner. The guy on the other opposite corner was a guy named Donald Semitol.
Okay.
And Don Semitol, the funniest, in my opinion, the funniest guy in the neighborhood. He could insult anybody better than anybody I'd ever heard. He was incredible. He was lightning quick.
Right.
And he had a slight overbite, so his nickname was Duck.
Okay.
Donald Duck Semitol.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, jeez.
Now, to this day, oh, man. And to this day, I still don't know if he was okay being nicknamed Duck. He never said anything about it. But I remember that we would talk all the time, me and Duck. I really enjoyed talking to him, even at a very young age. He was a good dude. And I remember every time I talked to him, I probably said, "Hey, Duck." And I think he got tired of that. And he started yelling back to me, "Hey, what's with this? Hey, Duck, hey, Duck, hey, Duck." And I said, "Well, what do you want me to call you?" I didn't know. I was, I'm like 12. I don't know what to call you.
Yeah.
And he says, so he starts yelling. He starts calling me Duck. And then a derivative of Duck was he started to say, he called me Doc Ellis and Doc Medich because I was a pitcher for a baseball team. And then then they just Doc stuck.
Okay.
So he went back to school that day, and he said his nickname is Doc, and everybody listened to him. So I got the nickname Doc. It's not a bad nickname. I'll take it.
No, that's not bad at all, dude. That's way better than that's better than Duck. I think it's better than Moochie. I think it's pretty good. Yeah. It's even better than Sean is fine. Sean will do. Sean will do. Sean will do.
Oh, Sean will do. I'll tell you what, though, Lenny. The worst of it, the worst nicknames in my neighborhood were the Devaney family.
Yeah.
They had five kids, and all 5 of them had a nickname, and they were known as Dirty Kids.
Right.
They were just dirty kids.
Right.
So,
right. We had kids like that.
Okay, so that somehow this terrible neighborhood nicknamed all 5 of the kids. There was 3 boys and 2 girls, and all of them got a nickname. There was Filthy Phil, Junkyard Jim, Bacteria Bill, Mildew Mary.
Oh, God. That's horrible.
Mildew Mary and Cockroach Kathy. Yeah.
Oh, man. That's rough.
Yeah. The whole neighborhood, man.
How do you feel if you're the parents of those kids? You hear all those nicknames, you're like, we've obviously made a mistake. We've made an error raising these kids.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I don't know anything about the parents. All I know is anytime I would go out, I'd see Phil would have a stick in his hand, and Jimmy be right next to him. And I think some of those kids ended up okay, but I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't really know.
Oh man, there was it's amazing the nicknames. I didn't even know some guys had nicknames, and some of them were extremely appropriate. Like, to give you an example, I wrote a line about one of my buddies, my buddy Greg Whitmarsh. This guy was out of his mind. He needed a new kidney, right? Okay. So we had a fundraiser for him. And we went up, and they had this club. It's probably still in Canaryville, called the Canaryville Club, and it's like this 3-story wooden house, if you will, and they turned it into a club. So they decided to have this fundraiser so that Greg could pay off the kidney, and we ran out of beer at the fundraiser. That's how Canaryville drinks. You're just they're gonna drink until you run out of beer. And next door, across the street from the Canaryville Club, is you're gonna love this. There's a tavern at the time, and it was Redbird's Flap Inn, okay, and and the guy who owned it, Danny's nickname was Flapper.
Okay.
So. It was a small tavern, but it was very quaint. It was nice. And I walked in there to get some more beer for the party. So as I'm getting the beer, I'm waiting. And as I grab the beer to put it under my arm, this really tall guy, about 6'6", gets into my ear. And I saw him, and I said, "Hey, how are you?" And he looked familiar, but I didn't know who it was, right? It was one of the guys in the neighborhood I hadn't seen in years, and I didn't know who it was. And it turned out that the guy's actual name is Danny Trench. Right.
Okay.
So I said hi, Danny. I said hi to him. He said hi to me. And then he got into my ear and started talking to me. But to this day, Lenny, I don't know what he was saying, because he was going like, and I look at him and I thought, uh-oh, I better just go along with this.
Yeah.
So I said, really?
Yeah.
And he was, and I said, no shit. And he goes, and I said, well, I appreciate you telling me. So then he goes, I'll tell you. And he shook hands with me and he left. And I said, what was that? What was that? So I go across the street with the beer. I come upstairs and I run into my buddy Earl. And I go up to Earl, and I'm shaking my head. He goes, what's the matter? And I said, I was just at Flappers, and I saw this tall guy, Danny Trench. And he looks at me and he goes, oh, Mumbles. Of course his nickname is Mumbles.
It all made sense. Of course it was Mumbles.
Oh, of course it's Mumbles. I tell you, to this day, I have no idea what he said to me. And it was hilarious because that is really an appropriate nickname. I have no idea what he was saying to me, but it was hilarious.
That's money.
And it was, I got to tell you another thing about growing up in that neighborhood. Guys had timing and they didn't know it. They had excellent comedic timing and no material.
Right. Well, if you're in that neighborhood where you guys are insulting each other like that, you got to be quick. You got to be quick to survive in that insult climate. You know what I mean? You can't. Yeah. If you're the weak link, you're going to get pushed out pretty quick. You know. So
yeah, it was. I'll tell you, it was amazing to me, and I found out many years later. I've lost friendships over the fact that all of a sudden I start working the clubs, and you learn how to handle yourself even more.
Yeah.
Because you constantly have hecklers coming.
Plus, you're
a
professional now. You get that whole. You're a comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the way it goes. I mean, if you spend 8 years on stage doing hundreds and thousands of shows, and then you go back to Canaryville, I found out that there's a lot of guys that are extremely sensitive when you come back.
You're lethal, dude. You come in there loaded for bear. You're just throwing out insults. Hey, Mumbles, how you doing? What's going on? Just throw stuff.
they're looking at me like, what was that? What's this going on with you? Got to come back for everything we've got to say. I'm like, I'm just being myself because Lenny, that's it. That's just what we do.
Yeah.
You know, so now I'm in the neighborhood and they're coming at me and I'm like, I got this guy, I got that guy, I got this guy. These guys they're now getting pissed off at me.
Yeah.
I actually lost friendships because of this.
Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal. That's weird. That's weird.
I know. It is. It's weak. Get that shit out of here, you know?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I mean, they spend decades destroying people verbally, and then be careful what you then they create a monster by I get interested in going, gee, I wonder if we could do this professionally, bust each other's balls. I think I'll be a comic. You know?
Yeah, right.
So I go learn how to do it. I come back and now they don't like it.
Yeah, no.
It's the wrong profession.
Yeah, but you're like you moved on. You're like you know you've left the neighborhood and you come back more powerful. You're like the Batman. You know what I mean? you come back like Batman. What did Batman go off to that camp and came back even more of a Dark Knight? And they're like, well, stay away from the Batman. So you're like the Batman of Canaryville.
Well, that's yeah, but I ain't saving nobody. Okay. I'm going in kind of with a Joker attitude, like some people just like to watch the world burn. You know.
Good luck. All right, man. All right, dude. Let's wrap it up, dude. We're at an hour 20. This was. I told you this was gonna fly by. This flew by quick.
It did.
Good. Dude, I gotta have you back. This is hilarious.
Okay.
I could do Canaryville stories for forever. These are the coolest.
Okay.
Everybody,
listen. Sure, whatever you want to do, Lenny. And I still got to tell you the story about the teacher that did Frank Gorshin. So,
oh, that's right. Oh, well, shit.
Yeah.
You want to tell that story now? You want to tell it now?
You want me to hit it now? I can hit it now.
Let's do it. All right, now let's wrap up on this story. This will be the last. This will be the last one. I didn't realize.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that one. All right, tell the story. So, take the floor, my friend.
I was enjoying it, so thank you, my man. Thanks, Lenny. No, I was taking an acting class at Act One Studios, and it was about maybe 10 people sitting in a circle waiting for the instructor to come in, and the instructor was this woman named Joanne, who was an actress, and she was very beautiful. I mean, she was a beautiful woman, and she was in her late 50s at the time, and she was beautiful. I can't imagine what she looked like back when she was, in her 20s and her 30s. Right. And she's still a gorgeous woman. So she had a voice. I had mentioned it before. She smoked a lot of cigarettes, so she had one of those high dial.
She had one of those? Is that everybody in Canaryville?
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Well, this would, look at him with a tie and everything. Don't you look good? That whole deal, right? So we're sitting in this circle and we're all busting chops in this acting class before we start. And all of a sudden somebody does an impression. Now I'm a stand-up. You're going to do an impression. It better be good. I'm sorry, but we can be pretty particular about that.
Right.
So guy does an impression, and I just looked at him and I gave him the "Who are you?" I said, "Well, who are you, Frank Gorshin?" Just flippantly, "Who are you, Frank Gorshin?" And as I say, "Who are you, Frank Gorshin?" in walks Joanne, the instructor, who I knew pretty well, and she was a very supportive instructor. And she hears me say, "Who are you, Frank Gorshin?" And she goes, "Frank Gorshin? I know Frank Gorshin." And I said, "Really?" And she said, "You're damn right I know him." And she proceeds to sit down, not start class, but the start of class was her telling us how she knows Frank Gorshin. So she said, "You're damn right I know Frank Gorshin." I said, "Well, how do you know Frank Gorshin?" She said, "Well, back in the day, he was, I guess Frank was on tour, and he was going to stop at the Drury Lane Theater in Chicago on 95th and Western, or as we say in Chicago, Western. And Western.
Western?
Yeah. So she had a girlfriend who managed that room, and Joanne loved Frank Gorshin. He was the original Riddler on the Batman TV show. He was a great character actor.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody loved him.
An amazing impression guy. He did impressions, right?
Yeah.
He was amazing. He was phenomenal.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Which is why I said to the guy when he did the impression, Frank Gorshin.
Yeah, right.
She comes in, "You're damn right I know Frank Gorshin." And then she proceeds to say, "Well, Frank was going through the Drury Lane Theater, and she didn't have a ticket to see the show. But she was talking to her girlfriend who managed the room, and her girlfriend said, 'Well, why don't you just come to the show, I can't get you a seat, but you could stand in the back next to me. You could watch the show. And then afterwards, maybe I could even introduce you to Frank Gorshin. So Joanne says, well, I can't turn that down. So she, so she said, so I go to the show. And of course, Frank was terrific. And I'm in the back and I'm standing there. And my friend introduces me to Frank Gorshin. So he said, you want to go out and get drinks? So Frank and I go out and get drinks. And the next thing I know, my legs are in the air. What? Yeah. She just says this real casually. The next thing I know, my legs are in the air. I said, your legs, you're like, I looked at her and the whole of the class is just losing it, laughing.
Right.
And I look at her and I go, Joanne, let me get this straight. You banged the Riddler? She said, you're damn right I did, and he was fabulous. And from that point on, she became one of my best friends.
Nice. Did she have
She had to.
Did she have a nickname? Legs Up or what do you have? The Riddler banger?
No, she was a true actress. She was not from Canaryville.
Oh, I see. That's right. All right. That makes sense. All right. We're gonna get out of here, dude. I'm glad we got to that story. I totally forgot about it, but I like.
That's okay.
I like that. And
thank you, Lenny.
Dude, thanks for being here. Thank you for the time. Yeah, I'll have you back. I'll see you before I have you back. I'll see you in July when I'm in town for sure. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll try and make it out there for you to see you and Mike.
We'll do the Wednesday. Yeah, and we'll do the Wednesday. Maybe the Wednesday if they do the Wednesday thing at Rosemount, I'll come out for that too. I don't know what the rules are yet over there. What's going on? Are you?
You know what? I'm not sure.
Are you doing it this week? Is that what you're doing Wednesday, or is there something else you're doing?
No, I'm got something else booked on this week. But the thing about they were doing things on Tuesday. They moved it to Wednesday. I don't know with the pandemic. From what I understand, they're only letting 50 people in now. That should open up sooner than later, but I don't know. Right. I don't know what's going on. She said, I'm kind of like you. You're at a greater distance of not knowing than I am. I'm in Chicago, and I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what's going on yet until the mayor and the governor say it's okay.
Yeah. Plus, everything's changing every day. So, all right, it'll be interesting.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah, so we'll see what shakes. But one way or another, I'll try and make it out there to see you. If anything, I'll call you, or we'll
touch base. I'm gonna I'll call you because I'm gonna catch a Sox game. There's 1 or 2 Sox games I can catch. Minnesota's in town, I think, around that time. So I'll let you know, dude. Maybe we'll go that day. It's like I can only catch I think a Monday game or something. I'll text you. We'll
that'd be perfect.
Yeah, let's catch the Sox game. Let's do that, man. Because I'll be in the city. I'll take the L down or whatever. All right, man. Dude, thank you for being here. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Appreciate it, Lenny. You're the best, man.
Dude, thank you, buddy, man. Thank you very much. Everybody say goodbye to my good friend. That's Kevin Naughton. Come on, man.
Thank
you. Woo! All right, Kev.
Hi, brother.
All right, buddy. That's Kevin Naughton, folks. What do you think of that? That was great. That was an hour and a half of Canaryville stories, and I don't think we even touched the tip of the iceberg. We gotta have him back. That's the best. That was the coolest, man. I thank you guys for watching all of it. Robbie was the whole show. She's like, Kevin's got great stories. Yeah, this is the best. This is a good show. This is great. Thank you guys for being here. Brenda has something funny. Oh, I just put it on the thing. Brenda made a comment about the acting teacher and Frank Gorshin and said he riddled her this. I think that's hilarious. That sums that up perfectly. He did. He riddled her that. Does the Riddler like cats? I don't know. It's very possible. There's a lot of questions coming. I'm not sure. Thanks, another great show. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. You guys are great. Yeah, Kevin was awesome. That went. That always happens with someone that's a friend of mine. Is that before I know it, I'm like, oh shit, it's 7:20. I'm like, oh shit. Like, oh my god, it's been an hour and a half. Oh my god, it blares by so quick. If I don't catch it, there was my buddy. I can't remember who it was, Vince or Vinny, the guitarist. We did almost 2 hours before I caught it, so I learned to check the time. All right, anyway, that was great, guys. Actually, first of all, the cool thing, too, is that Kevin, this is the second show in a row where I had a guy use the word jagoff. I had a guy from Pittsburgh on last week on Wednesday, and today was Kevin, so that's a back-to-back jagoff day. See that? You don't hear that word often unless you're from Pittsburgh or the Southside of Chicago. And speaking of Southside Chicago, Wednesday, Vince Acevedo will be here Wednesday night, also Southside Chicago, White Sox fan, and he will be here on Wednesday. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy your next couple days. I'll see you Wednesday at 6 o'clock. If you enjoyed the show and you want to throw some money at it, bam, there's all kinds of options at LennySchmidt.com/ifyoucan. feel free. If you're still watching and you're not watching the live feed, that means you like the show. So throw some money at it. If you can't, that's okay. All this content or this show is free online. But if you can support the show, we would appreciate it. Also, consider the Patreon page. Lots of cool stuff on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, man, you can join that. So that's the best. Guys, thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. And as always, dream of Pinky.
Lenny Schmidt Quarantine Comedy was created, produced, and is hosted by Lenny Schmidt. We live stream on YouTube at 6 p.m. Pacific every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Special episodes occasionally stream or are uploaded on Tuesday and Thursday. Every episode is also launched as a podcast and can be heard on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. If you enjoyed the show, please like the video. If you really like it, share the video. If you really, really like it, please subscribe to the Lenny Schmidt Comedy channel on YouTube. You'll get updates on this and numerous other online comedy content that my dad produces. Check the info section below for detailed information on all of our guests. If you are a fan, you can follow and support them as well. Go to their page, like their content, buy their albums, purchase a shirt, any merch they may be selling. Anything you do will support performers will literally help save the arts. In fact, if you want to support this show financially, just go to lennyschmidt.com/ifyoucan or Venmo at Lenny Schmidt Comedy. If you donate as little as $1 or as much as $10,000, it will help pay for the stuff my dad keeps breaking. If you can't pay for the comedy content, that's okay. COVID sucks for all of us. Enjoy the free show. If you want to find a way to support what we do, just subscribe to Lenny Schmidt Comedy channel on YouTube. That really helps a lot. Thank you for listening to my dad's show, and as always, dream of Pinky.